Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I want to show you how to improve your kind of design and editing skills and take this image that I got off of Creative Fabrica on the left and turn it into the design that I created here on the right. So if you would like to learn how you can do this, go ahead and stick around. So today I am going to show you how to create a t-shirt design. Right now I'm on Creative Fabrica because I wanted to show you some, design, I guess, styles or niches that I found that are popular and kind of how we can use those. So on Creative Fabrica, if I was to go over to POD up here and just click on that, it's going to pull up a lot of, graphics that are available to use on print on demand. And I can go ahead, there are literally over 6 million graphics, so tons and tons and tons. I can click view all graphics, and there are going to be a zillion pages of graphics that you can look at. But right now I have it sorted by popularity, so it's going to start by showing you what's the most popular, and it gives you an idea here of what's popular. And as I start to scroll down, I start to notice patterns of what is kind of popular. So first thing, dogs. Dogs are always popular. Here are some housewife, pinup girl style designs. I'm going to come down here. Some just animal humor is always good, and as I keep going down, some duck humor, some animal humor. So those are always good ones. Here's some more pinup girl style. Here's some more pinup girl style. So if I keep looking, you're obviously going to get the ones that are more seasonal. They're already starting to do some Halloween stuff, so apparently it's never too early to start working on your Halloween things, right? I got the tarot cards that I kind of showed you before, but here's some more pinup girl styles. Here's some more pinup girl styles. And so what I'm noticing is a lot of pinup girl styles, a lot of that vintage pinup girl wife. So here's another one, and there are a ton of these as I go. So I'm only on the second page, and I've already come up with a lot that are really popular right now. So let's just go to this one here, and I'm going to show you one that we can do. So right now, this one comes with 60 funny pinup girl quotes. You can look at the different ones, and so you can see that there's a lot of different fun things that we can do. We can use, by the way, any part of these. If we download it, we can use any part of these and edit it. I can change the words. I can use just the woman. I can use the words from one with another one. And so there's lots of different ways I can combine these, add new graphics, kind of try to make it my own. So I think that this is a cool one to start with. And so what I'm going to do is I would just go ahead and hit download, right? And so that's going to download it. Now it's going to download it in a zip file. So once it's downloaded, you're going to have to open up that zip file and take each of the individual files, PNG files that you want, and just drag that into your downloads section. And so you'll look through them each one by one. Sometimes when you look at them up close, they suddenly don't look as good as they do, here when they're nice and small. But look through them all, see which ones look the best, and go ahead and just drag those into your download section. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Canva and show you guys how we can sort of create our own design here. So I'm going to jump over to Canva, and right now I'm just on Canva's home page. I'm going to go over to custom size, and we're going to select 4500 by 5400 pixels, and I'm going to start there. Now I do like to design for darker colored t-shirts, so I'm going to go ahead and start by making this a black background right there. And now what we're going to do is we would go over to our upload section on the left-hand side, that tab, and we're going to upload what we just downloaded from Creative Fabrica. So any of those pinup girl designs that you found that you liked, right? So I'm going to show you which one I'm going to do. Okay, so here's some of the ones that I had downloaded, and I'm going to go ahead and use this one here, which I thought looked kind of cool. This one says, bitch, I am the secret ingredient. Now, I like the pinup girl, I like the layout, and I like the idea of this one. I'm going to go ahead and close it. But there's several things that I would want to change. As you can probably see, if I make this nice and big here, you're going to see some white here. And whenever I see white like that in places, what it's telling me is that somebody got this image and did a background remover. So this was obviously on a white background of some kind. They did a background remover. It didn't come out perfectly clear, so that I found these little white spots. So I always get a little nervous when I see that because I don't know where this original design came from. So even though it said safe for POD use, you know, it was on Creative Fabrica, a lot of the times I'll get designs from there and it's very obvious that they got them from somewhere. They didn't design them. They did a background remover, usually a bad one, and I can see remnants of sort of some of that white stuff. Or here I can see that the original design had a flag and that they tried to edit it and put their own little flag around here, and it doesn't really look very good. So if I was to zoom in here, what I'm seeing is the flag is nice and sharp, and then this is just sort of wavy. As you can see, they didn't even make a clear line right there, like when they went through the G, so that doesn't look good. I see some more of that white in there from where they did the bad background remover, right? And so it kind of makes me nervous, but I do love the pinup girl, and so I do want to keep that pinup girl. And I can look at the quotes too, by the way, and if they're not trademarked, I can still use that saying. So I can still use, you know, part of this pinup girl, and I can still use this saying. I can even use the general layout, but I'm going to go ahead and fix it. I'm going to make it look a lot better, obviously put my own spin on it so that it becomes a little bit more of my own design. And just so that you can see this, I'm going to keep this original here. I'm going to duplicate this page and I'm going to work on the bottom page so that we can compare when we're done. So the first thing that I am going to do is just delete some of this. One thing I'm going to do is put my own banner across the bottom. So, I mean, I can just go ahead and be like, I'm going to crop out most of that banner. I might be able to cover up some of this with my new banner. I want to delete out all of this and all of this. So I'm going to go to Edit Image. I'm going to go ahead and go to Magic Eraser, and we're going to start erasing things. So first of all, I know that there's some white here. Sometimes it's hard to see some of that white because it's such a light checkered background, but I'm going to try to see if I can get that white stuff that was there erased. I'm going to get rid of the words because I know I didn't want those. And I go ahead, get rid of these words. Sometimes I have to check a couple times, make sure I get all of the white splatter that there was. I don't remember quite where all the white splatter was, and it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try to get rid of some of this that might be in the way when I put a new one on. I do, by the way, like these colors, though, too, so I might keep some of the color palette. And something like that. So let's erase. All right, so I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to go back to my dark background and see what I missed. So I'll go ahead and hit this, just this back area. It's going to take me back to my black background, and I can see it looks like I missed a spot here. Otherwise, the rest of it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go right back to the Magic Eraser real quick, see if I can get that spot around her elbow. I really can't see it, so I'm just going to go ahead and generally erase the area around her elbow and hope I catch it. And try again. There it is, so I got rid of it. Okay, so now I got this. I've got my pinup girl, and so I want to use her. And I might even want to use the exact same quote, although I could use any quote I like with it. I did like that one. It was funny. I do like the idea of the banner, so I am going to go ahead and put a new banner that's cleaner and not as, messy as that one, come up with my own fonts. But then I'm also thinking to make it my own, I'm going to put a little bit of a rounder sort of vintage background around her. So let's go ahead, we'll go up to Elements. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the banner because I think that'll be the easier way to start. So hit Banner. We're going to be searching through the graphics to try to find a banner that looks like this one that I like. So let's go to Graphics, and you'll see there's lots of different ones like that that are kind of curved and have that outline. I'm looking for one, again, that is curved and has that outline. I want it to be roughly the same shape and everything. So right now it's not covering it up as much as I'd like, but that is one definite possibility right there. And so I can keep seeing. I could go with a different size or shape banner too. This is one that doesn't curve too much. Here's another one that looks like it curves quite a bit more. So I can flip this one over. Having trouble flipping it. Let's make that level here. Ooh, sail. And see how that banner looks. It's going to curve up a lot more. What happens if I do something like this? It's going to cover her arms up a lot more. So I'm actually not super fond of this one. I liked the other one better. Keep looking, maybe one that doesn't curve quite so much. There's lots of different styles that I can look at to see if I can find exactly what I want. Here is another one here. This one might be the winner. I'm liking this one. I think this one is going to fit the shape better. Because what I'm looking at. So that one will do. That one's pretty close. So it'll cover up everything nicely, and it fits pretty good. And so sometimes it can be hard to get one that kind of fits the way that you want. You do have to play with several. You might have to search around for a while to get kind of the exact right dimensions. But I do like the way that this one looks. So it fits on here. It covers up everything pretty well. And I can change the colors. So again, I can go ahead now and get that border color to be that same red color in the shirt. Something like that. And then I can get the kind of flag color also to match the shirt a little bit. Maybe different lighter portions in the shirt if I can. Let's see if there's anything else. Or if I don't want the shirt, I can go up. Maybe the hat has a little bit of a whiter tan in it, something like that. And so that looks pretty good there. So actually, it was the opposite way. Okay, let's do the opposite. I lied, it looks better that way. Let's do red, and we'll do the tan border. Yeah, there we go. So there is the original one that kind of looks a little bit messy, and they tried to bring that down to make it fit, right? And then here is the new one that's nice and smooth. And so I like the way that that looks. And so it took a little bit of time. I did find the right flag. So I think that looks cool. Again, I don't know if that's exactly as light as I'd like it. I feel like I want this to be a little bit lighter, but that could just be me bringing it down a little bit lighter there. So that looks pretty cool. So now what I'm looking for now is I thought I might do a cool like 50s something in the background. So maybe if I put like vintage and then I put like 50s and see what comes up. So I like vintage 50s. By the way, they do have some pinup girls here that you can use. And so that's cool already. So if you wanted to use some of the vintage pinup girls here, they already have some. And so that's pretty cool. Lots of cool vintage 50s style stuff that we could use in the background of any of these kind of pinup girl designs. You can see the patterns that kind of looked cool. I'm looking for something specific that I think might look good here. So some of those more circular styles that I think could look good in the backgrounds. But I can definitely see all the different kind of colors and patterns that look good. So I had to do several searches here to kind of find what I wanted. So at first I was looking for like 50s, and I put like vintage 50s, and I put vintage background, then I tried vintage circle, then I tried retro circle, which is what I'm on now. And this is kind of what I was looking at. So I've got a few of these right here. So this sort of starburst looks cool. So this is a solid starburst. There's nothing coming out. This one, you know, you get the gaps in between. This one allows me to change the colors, which is kind of cool. And then this one would just be like a solid color starburst. So I don't really like the solid color starburst. So I'm kind of going in between these two as possible options. If you're not sure, again, I can always duplicate the page. So there's nothing that stops me from duplicating and trying each one of them and see what looks best. So I put my circle over the top. I hit Control in my left bracket. And I kind of see the way that that looks. And so you can get the idea there how I like that sort of look. It looks cool, but I'm not super cool with the colors. I wish I could change the colors a little bit to match her better. Cool thing about this one is I was able to match the colors more. So when I stuck this one in the background, for example, I'm able to match those colors a little bit better. I'm also thinking I can crop down this bottom part here so nothing sticks out on the bottom, and then I can go ahead and send that to the background. So I actually kind of like the way that that one looks better, yeah, because I do like sort of the see-through, and I like the way that the colors match versus this one. The colors don't really match as much. And then of course I've just got my original here, which is just sort of blah, and the letters don't really stick out. This one's cool, but I do like that I can match the colors. This one, you know what, I might actually shrink it down a little bit first. So maybe I did want it to be a little bit smaller. Maybe something a little bit more like that, so it doesn't stick out quite as far beyond her. So let's try that one. Yeah, so I like the way that that looks. So this is coming along. So let me just get rid of this one really quick. So I'm looking between this one here and obviously what I started with. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to put the fonts in here. So we're going to go ahead and write on here. So I'm going to pull up a couple text boxes. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard here. So obviously the first one is that first word, bitch. Here we go. And just so that I can see it, I'm going to go ahead and change the color here really quick to that nice tan color. And then I'm going to pull up another one, and it's going to say I am. Okay, and that's going to go over here. This obviously says the, and then one more text box. Oops. And then this one is going to say the secret. Oops, it doesn't need the is already there. Secret ingredient. There we go. The secret ingredient, and that one's going to go down here. And so I can see how they did that. So here they had everything in lowercase, so I suppose I could go ahead and just keep that I lowercase and the S lowercase there. Oops. That probably does look a little bit better that way. And then we had just sort of that kind of scripty look, right? And actually the A probably looks better small too. So let's go ahead now and find some scripty fonts that look good. So I can go do a little script search or font search and look for script. And it's going to pull up different script fonts, and I can look for something that I think is going to look good with this design. And so here's where I just sort of play around. I want something scripty, a little bit thick. That is a little bit too grungy. So none of this is grunge, so I do want something that's solid. So as I'm searching through here, I'm looking for something a little bit more solid. So that looks pretty good. And this one is a Leo script. There's also Nexus script, which looks kind of cool too. So either one of these would probably work pretty well. I like this one a little bit better. It's a little less cursive. And so that's one possibility there. And then of course I've got this, and this I'm not, you know, they did a little bit of a scripty here. So I could do scripty, I could do something else. If I was to go ahead and make those both that Olea, I can see how that would look kind of there in terms of the fonts. I had actually played with it a little bit, and I found one that I liked a little bit better for the top. And just to save time, I'm going to write it in. It was one that was called, this one, Bugaki, and I think I found it under display fonts or under bold fonts because I was looking for something that was going to be a little bit bolder so that I could make it stand out here. So there is my bold fonts, and then I was cool with this being just sort of that the scripty. So let's go ahead. We're going to curve this bottom one by going to Effects. I'm going to hit Curve. I'm going to have to curve it the other way, and what I'm trying to do is sort of match this curve. I also need to match sort of the size of the font to make sure that it fits in here. So that's way too much of a curve. So I'm going to have to flatten that curve way out. So if I think about kind of trying to match that bottom line there, and then bring that up, maybe bring it up just a smidge more so the bottom doesn't touch. So there you go. Bitch, I am the secret ingredient. And so far that looks pretty good. Now, obviously this is going to need to pop a little bit. So keeping it here, it looks good on the dark background, but it's sort of fading away. So there's a couple things I could do. I could take it and I could either add an outline or a shadow around it, and that might be something cool if I did like the outline in sort of that dark red, made it a little bit thick, something like that. So you can see now that that's going to pop a little bit more, and so I could do it that way. I could also do it the other way around, so I could make this that red color and go ahead and make the effects and use that light outline, and that actually might pop a little bit better. And so I like that, and so I might go ahead and do that here too, and do my effects, do an outline, and try that sort of light outline here, and sort of play with the thickness that I think looks best. It doesn't have to be super thick. So that one's set at 79, this one's set at 77, so I guess they're both pretty close there. I could, of course, change the as well. If I wanted to cover this up, I could literally just kind of like take a little circle, and I'll show you. I'll just hit C on my keyboard. If I hit C on my keyboard, it creates a circle. I can go ahead and get that circle to match pretty closely the color of her apron, and then I just kind of take that circle and put it right over the top. And I might do a couple of those, and maybe in some different sizes. And if I really want it to match perfectly, I use my eyedropper feature to match the fabric that's right up next to that circle. So something like that. And then if I did it again, I hit Control D and I duplicated it and I brought it over and I shrunk it down and I put it here and I maybe moved it over so that I keep some of the shadow. And so you can see how I just kind of did that. And then if I wanted to then go ahead and put, you know, some text over the top, I could. So if I wanted to pull up another, you know, thing there and put you know, and make that this red color and move it here, you can see how I can do that. And so I can completely sort of change it the way I want, or I can make it match that font down there. And of course that one was the Oleo script right there. Ta-da. Gonna center that. Use my little arrows. Ta-da. And so, okay, so here is my version. It took a little bit longer than I intended to because I spent a lot of time sort of, you know, playing and trying to find the exact right graphics that I wanted. But this is what I came up with, and this was the original. So you can see how we kind of took that original, which, you know, didn't really stand out or pop too much and was a little bit messy, and we made a much cleaner, nicer version. Now, the cool thing about this is now that I have this layout, there's nothing stopping me from changing the words and putting in different sayings. So there's lots of funny housewife kind of sayings, a lot of those really funny pinup girl sayings, and you can just start making a list of the different pinup girl sayings. Obviously, trademark check them to make sure that they're not trademarked, but then there would be nothing stopping you from then taking your page, duplicating it, and then changing all of these to something else. And so you can, you know, kind of write whatever words you want and keep this general layout. And so that's what's kind of cool about this. I'm just going to call this one Secret Ingredient. And so you could do the same kind of thing with all of the different pinups, girl stuff that you find on Creative Fabrica, or really anything else. So it just takes a little bit of time, but once you get your layout kind of the way you want it, there's nothing that would stop you from then scaling this out. And I could scale it out pretty well. And I went with the same colors that they had originally, but there would also be nothing stopping me from changing these colors up a little bit. So I went with the same colors they had up top because I did kind of like the color palette. But I replaced everything except the red in her shirt, really. So if I wanted to just have the red in her shirt be something else and go with a totally different color palette for the rest, I could. There'd be nothing stopping me from doing that as well. So don't be afraid to be creative. Take your time. I know finding the right graphics and the right fonts is really the thing that takes me the longest. And if I did this and only made one design out of it, I'd be like, oh, that might not be worth it. That design might not even sell, and I just spent an hour creating it. But if I can spend a lot of time creating a really good design and then make a whole bunch more designs off of that one kind of template, then it becomes worth my time, because after I've put in all the time to create this, I can pump out a lot of different versions very quickly. So, you know, always kind of think about that when you're managing your time as well. So now that I have this the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead, go up to share. I'm going to hit download. It is a transparent background. It's a PNG. I'm going to get the page that I want, which right now is page 2. And I'm going to hit download, and then it will be ready to go on a shirt, on a sticker, on a tote bag, on a water bottle. It could go on an apron. I mean, because you know, it looks kind of aprony. Mugs, anything that you can think of, really you can put it on. And so, and even because of the shape, maybe even a pop socket or something like that. So don't be afraid to be as creative as you like. Really take your time with all of these things. Thank you for sticking with me through the rants and everything else. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I hope you guys are doing well with your sales and being very creative and coming up with some awesome design ideas. If you have any requests, you can drop those in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. Also, I've got something like 250 videos up on my channel. So if you have a question, there's a good chance it's already been answered. So go ahead and check out my channel, and you can kind of look at the videos that are up there. Originally, they started off very, very easy and kind of progressed to harder, and now they're just obviously all a little bit tougher. But initially, I did go through step by step how to just do simple text, simple graphics, simple combinations of things, and kind of work my way up in complexity. So you can go back all the way to the first video. All the videos are numbered so that you know what number it's on. So if you go back and you find video number 1 or video number 2, you know you're getting a really easy one. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out, by the way. I'm trying to be a growing channel, so I hope to keep giving you guys some good content. I hope it is beneficial for you guys, and I do hope to see you guys again soon. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.